Oh God.
Okay, when we last left off, Kobe was dead. Kobe, are you dead?
I am dead. No. All right. So the last update with the apartment that I got was yesterday. They essentially said, "Hey, when it, like right when it burned down, it was like, hey, you're gonna be back in your apartment, and all your shit's gonna be just the way it was in a week." And so 2 weeks later, I go over to the apartment, and they're like, "No, 2 weeks minimum. You're gonna be couch surfing for 2 weeks." So yeah, now my stuff is all there. It's just I went into the apartment yesterday before they had started ozoning it because they wanted to get rid of the smoke smell, and so like all my keyboards, recording software, monitor, and all that shit was in a trash bag.
Mm,
Yeah. So
fine.
um,
Right.
if y'all's apartment catches fire or someone near you catches fire, take your computer components with you because they will destroy them.
Yeah. Yep. Right.
Okay, now with SLMC shit.
Yeah. So I think we have a good understanding of what the cardinal rules are, and every group that is a part of this, I guess, a quote unquote movement, understands what is going to happen if you do said stuff. We just need to have a written thing, which we kind of agreed that we're just going to use a forum for this sort of thing that we're doing instead of a group, because it gets really complicated with groups in SL. So we don't have anyone in here to update us on New Jessie forums. I think what me and Tyro kind of had like a pre-meeting before this to kind of find something to talk about. Is that the so like if the need arises when someone is doing something in your sim, you need to, I think we stressed it last time, to communicate, and immediately have your recording equipment available. So, so when someone comes in and starts doing something that you know is breaking one of those cardinal sins, that you're going to have the evidence to support your claims. And I think it's just pretty much standard thinking on that sort of thing. Like, if you don't have the recording stuff, then no one's going to believe you about it. I mean, uh, and then I think we kind of were looking at what we're going to do about New Jessie rule set. If there is one already, I haven't seen it. Because I think that the New Jessie should be kind of restricted with combat. Well, not restricting combat, more like movement enhancement and jetpacks and stuff that isn't regulated. So that's something we can do with New Jessie to make it fair for. Because if someone comes into New Jessie with the first time doing combat, they come in, someone's flying across the sim, and with like
on.
it just fucking wrecking shit. They're like, "Yep, this is gay. I'm leaving," and they leave. We lose somebody.
Yeah.
So if we
Well,
kind of want to go
part of
around
the
the table
reason
here,
that jetpacks and jump packs are unfortunately necessary on New Jessie right now is that there's a lot of wide open space with no cover. And
I
so
agree.
a lot of people feel it entirely necessary to just, use a jetpack or a jump pack. But, jetpack is a bit OP. And the problem with that is, it's on a homestead right now. And so adding that type of cover is may at some point require a full sim. So
We also were talking about. I think me and Hidet were talking about it the other night. If we could get New Jessie upgraded to a full sim, if everybody in the community like donated, like I think it was like 8 cents, then New Jessie would be kept afloat. And I think we did the math on that. I don't know if it's the right like exact math, but it's pretty fucking close. It's dirt fucking cheap. But the thing is, are people going to willingly pay for it? Probably not. So we have to find our own ways to get New Jessie as a full sim and keep it that way. Because I don't think it's
How
not gonna.
much would you guys need exactly to keep it up?
Well, a full sim per month is what 17K lindens, which is roughly what $40, $60.
Well, if my group ever goes down, I might as well just donate the weekly sim rent that we get to helping keep up New Jessie. So,
Well, it needs to be a lot more than just a few people donating. And if everybody wants to fight New Jessie and kind of see the SLMC flourish, then we all need to kind of chip in. But like I have a few issues with that, like who's going to be handling the money, and can we trust said person because there's no contract agreements on, and there's no repercussions if somebody just decided to take all the lenders, exchange them for cash, and leave. You know,
and
I
whoever
don't
would
think
do that would be
Kane
like a total fucking dick.
Yeah, but I think Kane is generally wanting to.
It's happened in the past, Sam.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's shitty.
If I recall the whole Grave incident, the whole reason coercion is really like Grave. It is widely believed, and a lot of our high command firmly believes that Grave creates these groups and takes the donation money and spends them on gadgets and shit in real life. So, but that's debatable.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised that people are that stupid enough to join his fucking groups after that.
Well, that's his deal, not ours, and we're not here to talk about that. But yeah, it is a possibility that something like that can happen.
So I mean, as of what Haven kind of originally brought up, I think we've all kind of went into agreement on the previous meetings, such as like the cardinal sins and all the other stuff. I think we need to really in my opinion, I think we really need to focus on getting the forums up, and then that way we can have a better, more updated stuff. Like if, like for instance, like the rule sets and all that stuff for like New Jessie, and kind of like a base guideline for militaries to kind of take a part of. I think that's probably where it's most likely going to flourish instead of this, because this felt like kind of like a last minute thing to do, even though it was planned. So honestly, I don't really know what else to talk about other than
So we got another neutral combat sim. If you guys are interested in embracing that.
Okay.
Which one?
But
it's called Brazil.
That's original. Original.
We are in keeping with originality. The sim layout is going to be based on Castle Wars from RuneScape, if you ever played that.
Okay.
I'm going there now.
So yeah, if New Jessie gets, I know you guys are working on getting a full sim, but it sounds like there's some logistics to that. So if the sim gets full, or if you just want a refresher with some scenery, that is a place, and we are going to be open to the community very soon as a combat arena. You can advertise your groups there. You can shit there. That's all going to be things that we offer there.
Oh, cool. I guess I can update you guys on Chaos, what we have planned for sim build. So we're gonna have 3 things for attackers. I think this is probably gonna be our final build. Bottom layer is gonna be, I think, traditional combat. So you come in, you try to push each other into the spawn, and then we're gonna have 3 other platforms. We're going to have an escort mission, which is you get the bomb to our end and it blows up, essentially. And then we're going to have a capture a flag scenario, and we're also going to have a king of the hill, and it's something we're playing with. And so like when you come in, we'll have a hub, and then you select what mode do you want to do, and then you teleport to it. And I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to basically let us know which one to go to, what platform. and kind of give a lot more options than just going into a sim, try to push each other into the fucking spawn, and then debate on who actually won. With these actual win modes, and you'll know who won the actual match. So, but I don't know when it's gonna be done. So, I think once Tyro stops being gay. But other than that, I don't really know. Tyro, didn't you have some stuff you wanted to bring?
In regards to what?
Anything, like, we're in the meeting. We kind of ran out of stuff to
I
talk
know
about.
Kenny mentioned to me and a few other people, and I know people don't like Kenny in this community, and I completely understand why. Like, he has a reputation, it's well earned. But, that doesn't mean his ideas should be taken, like, without any consideration, especially if they're just ideas. One of the things he proposed, and like it is rough, it needs to be worked on, is down the line, like months and months from now, like 6 to 8 months minimum, like maybe around August or something. He was thinking of doing like an SLMC tournament where like everyone has the same weapons and armory to work with, and they just pick a map to fight on in the SLMC, and they just duke it out. And there's like a tournament setting, and there's like prizes for the teams that win, like weapon commissions for like the models or the scripting, or like a month of sim tier and stuff like that.
Brodius, I already told you why.
What?
I already told you why. My sim is being closed down for a little bit. We're going on hiatus because of setbacks.
Here, Sam, why don't you talk about that and see if there's any way the community can assist in that?
But I mean, not to hype anyone up, this is more of a long-term idea, but I think it's an interesting idea that can very easily go into other plans, like doing just community-wide events where like it's kind of a bipartisan or even like a sponsored thing. Like, I mean, like, think about it. Like, oh, this and this sponsored by the Coercion Combine. Like, I mean, it's not like, oh, Coercion wins at this. Just, okay, Coercion is hosting this, you know? But if there is, like, competitive
pretty
things,
cool idea.
we do need to have, like, the same weapons being used by both sides. Like, because there isn't, right now there isn't, and there won't be a very clear, fair balance with the SLMC. Nor should there really be a 100% fair balance at any point. Because part of the charm of this community is an imbalance in terms of armory. That's really all I want to say.
That's a really nice idea, and I honestly like it. I would like to contribute to it if somebody wants.
Yeah, the idea is like kind of down the line. Like I know Kenny like Kenny said, oh, I'll throw some money at it and I'll find this. And I know he has like modelers and people, and like he can probably get a scripter to help out with it, but he doesn't want to control it, which indicates to me that he is sincere, because if he wasn't sincere, he'd be like, yeah, I want to control it. He actually wants King Constantine and I to run it or give commentary. And I don't necessarily want to run it, but I'm sure I can help out finding people to like referee it or have good ideas for it and stuff like that. But I'm open to like doing commentary with Kane. That sounds kind of fun. But like I said, this is like August or September-ish, if it happens at all. So
we can actually try to do a testing version of that in this week in New Jersey, at least.
We could, but we need like we wouldn't have a lot of weapons to work with. Like I guess we could use like the default LBA armory, like the LBA AK-47, the pistol, the Sherman tank, and the RPG. Like if we want to do something like that.
Yep, why not actually? No jetpacks, New Jersey, and the K from open source set.
Yeah, if we want to do that, like we can talk to Kane after this meeting and see what we can do. But there probably wouldn't be any like prizes or anything like that.
We will just give people that AK with special modification, like floating text, maybe.
Yeah, actually, that might be a good idea. Like, give it to Sephiroth, and he can like modify it, make the scripts no modify, give it a specific name. And do you think you could script something to like identify like the attachments someone's wearing and like confirm they're only using like one AK and the specific AK that you gave them and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay, then there'd be no problem, and it wouldn't be like there'd be no prizes at the first one, so like it wouldn't be too difficult.
No, wait. I actually will script a gun for a winner of whole tournament.
Okay.
Why not? Why no prizes?
Only because like I feel like if we put like actual tangible prizes in the first one, like it incentivizes people to cheat. Because there's no reason not to cheat at something if there is going to be a prize at the end, and if you can't, because especially when we don't really have a lot of heavy scripting and stuff to regulate these kinds of things, like it'd be very trivial to subvert the system.
Yeah, but it's really trivial to intercept such things.
Well, okay, what kind of prizes
You
would
can
we
make a
want?
trophy.
Yeah, we could just make a
Trophy,
trophy.
that's
Make
it.
something silly.
We're just gonna make a trophy.
Okay.
Okay. See, I like this idea because this is what we were discussing before this meeting. Is that the way the SLMC is like the way it is with all the crazy gear and tech is because there's no set parameters by Linden Labs when they first created this. Of course, they didn't see this coming, but I think they had an idea for a combat addition to Second Life. So why it's so fucking crazy and people are just kind of, they have their own opinion on their own weaponry is because there's no set parameters at the very beginning. So if you go play like an FPS, there's a set parameter set on what you can do and what you can use, and everybody uses that, that group of tech to, fight each other. And then there's, an even playing field. Now with SL, there's just not that. It's a sandbox. You can do whatever the fuck you want, essentially. And it's kind of a problem because there's no guidelines, and if there is, but no one really kind of adheres to it to an extent.
Unwritten guidelines.
Yeah, so like this, I think that'd be a cool idea because then you have a parameter set that you use this weapon or use like these multitude of weapons and grenades, and everybody's set on an even playing field. So I'm for it. I think that's a good idea. Actually.
Yeah, and honestly, like if we start making like competitive, like little team-based contests for the SLMC, we could also it would like gradually like just through people wanting to play better at that setting, it would just incentivize people to build their armories around the idea of being similar to that. That way, they'd be able to play better. Like how normal games work.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing is, I didn't think about this while I was thinking about this. We really should, if we're going to do this, we need to make it objective based. Because if we just have how many times can we kill people? Like, it's so hard in SL to track kills. Yes, it's possible to track kills in SL, but it's very difficult and subjective because, like, if you teleport home...
For tournament...
What?
For tournament, we can do quite something like a 5v5s, for example, and the last survivor with just one death, and the last survivor wins the round, and something like 10, 20 rounds.
That could work.
Yeah, you can do it that way, or we could do capture a flag mode. But that's something.
It's something we can discuss with Kane in like in a separate conversation. It's not too vital that we have like everything down for this immediately.
Hey, fuck boys.
Hey, baby.
Oh, look who decided to show up.
Hey, I'm here for just a second. I'm getting Omar in here to represent KPC.
Autism speak.
Pretty much, I think is good.
Okay.
Do you have anything you wanted to get talked about, Haven?
I haven't been keeping up. I've been fucking busy as hell. What went on in the last meeting? If you could just recap really quick.
We just talked about slob blob play.
Kobe's house lit on fire. He updated us.
I know about the house fire.
We talked about we don't know what's going on with the forums, but the forums are probably the best platform for kind of like guidelines and rule sets.
Actually,
and then we talked
now.
about.
They can probably
Oh yeah, that's right. Going with.
Hey Proteus, quick, can you answer my IM to you?
Which one is you?
Foreboding.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Lurden. I was like, fuck that.
Oh my god.
I want to say this about the websites. Originally, Hadet was I was holding off on the forums themselves because Hadet was going to institute a basically a piece of code that would make it so that you had to sign into the forums via your SLUUID, so that way your account name was your account name on Second Life, so we wouldn't have issues we had previously with the War Journal where people were spamming or just being fuckboys. He has yet to give me that code. I don't know if you can, Tyro.
I know, like, I think Kane Constantine has that box that, like, actually makes an, as this was the thing for the Jessie War Journal. I don't know if Kane is the one who got that, and if he has perms to it, I don't know. But
Kane told me he did have perms to it. But what I'm gonna do is, if it takes too much longer, because I know people want to get up and ready, I'll just post the forums as is, and later on, if people get around to it, we can just remake it.
Yeah, we
That's
could
not that
soft
big of a deal.
start. Like, we could just archive the forums and then, like, implement the new system and delete all the accounts.
On the subject of creating the website, I mentioned this before, and I'm gonna say it once again because perhaps nobody read it. But part of what's taking a minute to get the website off the ground is I would like pictures of the SLMC to use as resources, on the website itself. And I would like to kind of crowdsource some of those pictures. If you have pictures of your army, if you have pictures of the SLMC, I would like it if you could send those to me. If you don't, take pictures. As I said before, don't expect somebody else to take pictures for you, because that's how it's just going to end up being 100 pictures of coercion space.
Actually, I don't know why I didn't think about this before. There will probably be a lot of chaos pictures that I can find. Like, that's why I haven't.
I have a few KPC ones as well.
There's nothing wrong with it just being pictures of coercion, though, right?
Can someone send Raven
It's not an idle
a-
thread. Adonis gave me, I think, like 100 pictures of coercion space, like just to prepare.
Can someone give me or give Raven Isen an invite link to this?
Yeah, I can. Let me give him an invite link.
Can you give someone else invite permissions, Haven, please? Just so, like, we don't have to keep bugging you all the time.
No, fuck you.
That was pretty rude.
Yeah.
It was pretty rude, but it's damn worth it. All right, hold on. And Tyro,
See,
I'll give it to you.
my thing about making accounts admin verified before letting them go is that creates a bottleneck with whoever the admins are, which so far is going to be me, Kane, and Hadet. And me, Kane, and Hadet aren't the most active people on the SLMC, and so that makes me iffy.
I'm pretty active.
Active when I feel like it.
By the way, Sela, you can ask Hans about that box and that code. I think he and
Ask who?
Hans and
Hansa.
Who?
Hansa Noise.
Hey,
Oh, okay.
Tyro, can you go ahead and double check and make sure you can invite people?
Can you paste that name in the chat, because I have no idea who that person is.
I will drop you in
Hansa Noise runs D1 MTG, I think.
Yeah, see, I don't even know what that is.
It's guns that a bunch of vice people buy.
MTG. D1 MTG is a weapon and gear
No, Second Life.
selling basic gear for Vice and LLC's combat. Decent shit, but a couple of generations old.
Too old.
Agreed.
There's actually perhaps a piece of new Rome tech we could use for this, where you or I guess this is basically what the box does, but you would click something and it would give you a unique ID that only you would see, and then that would be your password into the website.
What is stopping people from creating new accounts and
Nothing is stopping people. We haven't advertised Kobe. We weren't supposed to advertise the website yet because it's not publishable. Number one, because we don't have copy as far as text. Number two, we don't have pictures, and number three, we didn't want people on the forum just making 1,000 accounts under their own name and just spamming it or pretending to be other people.
Might be.
You could make it so that I mean, I had to go AFK. I don't know if this was mentioned, but like if you suspect someone might not be who they say they are, you could report them to an admin. Like the admin could just like require that they verify that they are who they say they are through like Second Life means. Like you have yourself in Second Life with your name tag properly displayed, like the white name tag with the camera behind you and whatever, and just like open a note card and like or right click something in your inventory and show its properties and show it's been created by you, last owner was you, and whatever, that you own it.
I think actually the simplest solution might be if I don't get this black box or whatever sorted, I can text and Kane and Hadet and see. But if it's too much of an issue, like I said before, I just realized New Rome has a web developer that created something similar that gives you a unique ID that corresponds with creating an account.
Yeah,
on
the only
the
reason why
server.
I mean, I don't know if he's told you, but he's just really busy trying to move and everything right now. He should be back in a couple weeks, but I know that might be too long. I can see if Dread has it, but I know he's working full time as well.
Excuse me, how you doing? This is Raven. I just entered the meeting a little while ago, and I was invited, but I wasn't told what the purpose of the meeting is. Could somebody fill me in on this, and what are we talking about? Please.
Basically, it's like SLMC stuff. So if you have an idea for the community and whatnot, we're trying to kind of get everything hashed out. I don't think you've been here for the past couple of meetings, but pretty much what we've gone over, we kind of developed a list of cardinals, what we call cardinal sins. So like uh, doxing and all those major, faults that someone can do against a group. I think we're going to try to I think we figured out ways to work around those and get those people out of the community or punish them in a way. And then I think today we're actually.
How would you do that? First of all, the description of the offenses was other than the one description that you made, the doxing, which I understand. The rest of it was really rather vague. I'm not sure how far that spreads out across the behavior of people that in the community. And second of all, I'd like to know if you do what you said you came up with some type of solution to like a punishment or something in that order, and I'd like to know what that is for people that do that.
Okay. Can I start, Ricky?
Sure.
Okay, so basically and this was brought up in the previous meeting that we had, like actually defining terms and like what authority we have to actually punish people, and basically the conclusion was, so doxing, copybotting, well, not really copybotting is responsible for the content creator, so that's kind of a gray area. Sim crashing.
But if it affects the group, like they copy bot your whole armor set,
right? But that's the business of the content creator. The content creator has to file a DMCA and all of that. And now the group can choose to say, okay, well, that person got butter or shit. But I mean, at the end, like you're gonna, okay, so this kind of falls on what I was talking about with. Okay, so sim crashing, graphics crashing.
Well, that's like attacking somebody's army, though.
Can I finish, please?
If you ask
me. Here's if you don't mind, just really quickly, because hopefully it hasn't entirely been about rules. From what I've seen, the meetings were created because people noticed a steady lack of activity or a steady drop in activity as far as the SLMC, and people got together to kind of figure out what the problems were and see what they could do about it. The first thing they thought about was people leaving the community, and therefore they instituted some rules that would help to not scare people off. One being to basically blacklist from the SLMC anybody who doxed, and the second thing to a lesser extent to try to deal with people who copy bot. But my hope was that it was going to be more than just creating rules. My hope was that there was going to be a heavy focus on marketing and bringing new people in.
That's a good idea.
Right, and
well, that's kind of what it's been a little bit of both.
In terms of actual enforcement, the idea is not necessarily to say you must do this against this person. If you find this person doing this, you have to do this. The idea is, okay, we need to have, without a shadow of doubt, unobjectionable evidence, and basically it can be brought into a neutral body, like, you know, a forum for the SLMC, or at least for the moment in here, say this person did this person doxed, this person graphics crashed these people, this is how I know, this is the item they rezzed out, this is the information they gave to this person, so on and so forth, and basically everyone in the SLMC can say, okay, I can't debate this evidence, this looks 100% legit, we will not allow this person in our sim or in our group, and that's the extent of it. There's no like blacklisting of groups who don't accept that. Like, we just need to be honest and transparent with each other, and we can't lie to each other about this shit.
As an addendum to that, I spoke to Kane and I spoke to Hadet because there was an issue brought up in the second meeting about, I think it was around Proteus and Delhi or something, where there was a preeminent warning that somebody was going to try to, you know, false flag them and say, oh, they were doxing when they weren't, for the sake of kind of ostracizing them from
I think
the
this
community.
was between
And
Wyatt and like what he was doing, like basically right after one of the meetings.
Perhaps, but something.
She's talking about the alt cake thing.
Never mind then.
I think that the idea that we came up in that point, and this is also something, you know, Hadet and Kane and I have discussed. I would like to, you know, field it if you guys have any questions or concerns about it, is in order to prevent possible false flags, quote unquote, we would like to set up a page on the website that is currently being created that basically, if you have a report of somebody who you believe is doxing or somebody who you believe is breaking basically the terms of service, that you would send it to that page along with every single piece of evidence you have. And if the admins deem it, you know, that it's a legitimate claim, that we bring it to everybody in this group so that there are representatives from everybody in this group and we can discuss whether or not it's a legitimate claim. Does anybody have any issues with that?
Well,
I think that's a great idea.
It doesn't prove it one way or the other. Still, you still have to look at the evidence like you were looking at it before. You're still looking at it, not knowing if it's real or not. How do you prove it's real evidence? You know that.
Well, but that's the thing. You go around, you know, with everybody and you debate it, and you're basically innocent until proven guilty. And it's not ideal.
It's real evidence.
Unfortunately, we are people on the internet, and we can't get around that. But it offers us the best possible chance, rather than one person saying, "This guy doxed me."
Yeah, that one person.
It gives every possible perspective.
So the result of doxing would be you'd be like banned forever from, like, you couldn't do combat anymore in the community. Everybody would just ban you.
I think these topics were discussed in previous recordings, and I think you can find them on our YouTube.
Basically, the general consensus is that everybody in here that agrees with the rule sets, which should be everybody in this meeting, that is in compliance with the quote-unquote Project Genesis, would ban those persons from their sim upon
like forever, permaban.
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay. Just for the what if you're wrong? There's no reprieve, or could you bring evidence up again, and if you found new evidence or somehow?
And that like in the case of like sim crashing or something like that, someone can just say, okay, I fucked up, I didn't know, or something like that. Like you can, like, if they
like manslaughter. You know, what do you do then? It's like manslaughter. I fucked up. They admit it, but they still did it. But they admit they did it, but they were sorry. But do you ban that person for doxing? You can't really say that because that's kind of premeditated.
What needs to happen is we need people to be scared if they decide that they feel like
right, but people can change their minds and be reasonable. Like, people act like, especially people who've been in like Teen Grid and stuff like that. Like, and like people like 16 or whatever, they don't know any better. Like, even we don't know better right now.
Yeah, we got to take that in consideration too.
Like, and none of this can be retroactive. Like, we've all, like, and I think we've
I
said this before.
personally think we shouldn't have the people that don't know any better in the community. And if those people break the rules, then sucks for them.
Sure, but like they can always.
Doesn't matter if they don't know any better.
I agree with that.
There's no reason they shouldn't be able to appeal and say, okay, yeah, I fucked up, and like not like, okay, we believe you, you apologize. Like, actually show some change. Like, have people who can vouch, like, okay, yeah, this person's not doing that shit anymore.
I think it should be personally, when it's done, it's done.
Right, but if you do that, it's something to abuse too.
What about
we also have to keep in mind,
like a 3 strikes you're out kind of thing? Like, You know, if you fuck up once, then okay, well then something happens to you,
I
right?
think it should be twice.
And if you do it twice, then you're done. You don't get a third time, right? Maybe.
Well, there's also an important issue that I think will come out of the discussion of a previous meeting that we had, where Hadet kind of laid out and everybody sort of assented to his definition of what doxing was, and I think that it lays out a very particular set of laid out when that can actually be considered doxing. So, like, if somebody just gives out their personal information to people, and then that person has it, and maybe you don't like that person anymore, and there's drama between the two of you, well, that's not doxing. That's tough shit. But if somebody, like, they go and they socially engineer, or they use some sort of coercive force, or they hack into stuff, or
it's
something like that, or
yeah, the difference between using legal means illegal means and sticking your dick in crazy. The most recent
yes.
issue was there was an issue where Wyatt was posting pictures of Decrypted from Coercion, I believe, all over the fray. And that's where the discussion stemmed from, because we're like, well, do we get rid of Wyatt for posting pictures? Because Wyatt didn't steal those pictures. He didn't hack Decrypted's Facebook. Decrypted gave him to an ex-girlfriend, who gave him to Dark Sleeper, who gave him to Wyatt, and we can't sit here and bicker about every single time you trusted somebody and they stabbed you in the back. That's not our issue. If somebody's hacking your Facebook, if somebody's using a keylogger, that's what we consider doxing.
Can I ask you this question? So, the result of somebody hacking your Facebook and stealing a private photo, right?
Mm-hmm.
The result of that is being in possession of the photo, and then they put it out on the fray or whatever and expose you. Okay. So now, on the other hand, you've got somebody that had a photo passed to them through someone else, and they made the same decision to put the photo on the fray and expose the person.
Yeah.
So we're not looking at how they got it, but what they did. So I think you're missing a very, very
no,
good.
we're
missing
looking,
a point.
We're looking at how
You're missing the point. You're missing a point. You're doing the same thing.
It doesn't matter if it's doing the same thing.
Here's the original idea behind
It's the same thing. They're exposing the person in public,
It doesn't
and
matter.
it's not okay either way.
From
You set the house on fire with matches, or you set the house on fire with something else. I don't know. You leave the gas on.
Raven does
burn
have
the
a
bacon.
point. I
House burns down.
I work at a title company, and before that I worked at a law office, and part of my job there was to find where people lived so that we could serve them with process when we were suing them. And I can tell you right now that you don't have to do illegal things to get information from people who didn't want you to have that information. Very much have never been found, so that we could have never served them with process. But the means by which we used to figure out where they lived, their phone numbers, everything else about them, we used means to get, because most of your information in that capacity is public record. It can be found. You just have to know where to look. For instance, credit reports.
And it's how you use it that matters. How you
exactly.
get it.
Now there are
somebody. I stole a gun, or I bought a gun, or
chill
somebody
out,
gave me a gun,
out.
and I take a gun and shoot somebody with it. I still murdered somebody. It's the same damn thing.
Okay, chill out. Because number one,
That's all.
we're not talking about murdering people. We're
No,
talking
I'm just
about,
saying. I was using it as a metaphor.
Chill out.
Okay, I'm not
All right.
chilling.
All right. So
Yeah, let people
here's the
talk,
thing.
dude.
You're correct. It sucks for that person. It sucks to have your picture released. The problem is we cannot go one by one and figure out interpersonal relationships between you and someone else. I wish we could, but that's not what this group is for. And that sucks. I mean, it sucks and it's not fair, but it doesn't matter. If we were to sit here and go through every single instance of where you got into an argument with your girlfriend or whatever, and something happened, we would not have time to do the shit we need to do. Because at the end of the day, that's not that important.
Okay, so
who
does the doxing?
Raven, what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep the use of personal information. Oh, excuse me. We're trying to keep the use of personal and real life information out of the community entirely. And any use of it in any malicious intent will be taken as responded with punishment.
Okay, then. Well, then what Wyatt did would be considered exactly what you just
There's
said.
a great
Exactly.
degree of difference between releasing someone's picture and releasing someone's phone number, address, name, and where they work and shit like that. Like,
It doesn't matter. None of it needs to be in the community,
exactly,
and
I
all
agree
of it
with
should
you,
be
but I'm just saying.
I'm just asking, where do you draw the line here?
It's
I'm
completely
just being
subjective.
devil's. I need to understand
It
it.
is subjective.
Here's
You can't
where you draw the line,
objectively draw
Raven.
the line with this kind of thing.
It's very easy to draw the line. It's entirely black and white. Hang on. It's entirely black and white. If you use somebody's personal information without their consent, you will be banned.
Okay, so he did cross the line, but it's not retroactive.
He did.
But if
the
he
only
did it
reason we're
again,
not
then that would count, right? Is what you're
Yes.
saying?
The
Okay.
reason we're not
Previous meetings where
administrating.
we talked about all of this.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand it. I'm not trying to be a dick or
I
nothing.
understand
I'm
that,
just really
but
trying to
you
understand
came
it
in-
because
okay. Can I assume that you came in here and you didn't watch any of the previous videos at all? Correct.
first of all, yeah, you're right. I didn't know there was any videos. I didn't know there was any
Then I don't want
taped
to sound like an
transcripts
asshole
or
because you
nothing.
do bring up legitimate points, but please, if you are going to come in here, like say next week or the week after that or something, please watch those videos and understand what we're already about with all that, because this is all.
I don't have a link to videos. Nobody told me about
It's all in
videos,
the
man.
Chaos Indivisible
It's in the
YouTube.
general
One
chat.
moment, I will link you to our whole library. I don't have a playlist. I will make a playlist just for you and everyone else in that camp.
You should make a playlist.
Okay. Well, this is the first
honestly,
I've heard about it. Okay.
It should
Well,
be.
we had
It should be
playlist. Make a playlist for cheaters.
I will make a playlist as the meeting goes.
perhaps we should have it posted in the fray so that people, or if we're more vocal about it, perhaps more people will watch it.
Do you
I mean,
really
I think this is the
anyone
first time
would
I've been
care?
invited to this meeting.
Everyone's welcome. It's
So,
not exclusive.
also.
It's just it's difficult to get the word
Well,
out
I
to
mean,
everyone.
I wasn't informed there was a meeting or what the schedule
there-
was, when it was happening. I was just happened to, it was totally
Up until
coincidence.
Maybe now only one person could even send the invite, and we, to Raven's credit, have not been as vocal about an open forum as we should have been.
Okay, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm just trying to catch up, you guys. I mean, that shows that I'm enthusiastic about being involved and I care. Okay, so let's roll with that and don't think I'm just, trying to push buttons or nothing. I'm not.
We don't.
There is someone else that wanted to be invited, but they're like an independent party. So what's the deal on that?
What do you mean independent party?
They
They're
don't.
not a part
They
of a
don't get
group?
it.
Well,
Fuck
they-
Lone Wolves.
What's their name?
Sarah Dustful Welshland. He's been wanting to get a part of these meetings for a while now.
Is he a part of a
Welsh
group?
Lamb? I think he's all right.
He assists All Hollows every now and then when he gets a chance, and he's also questioning bringing up Chical Corp again.
Yeah,
Then
he's got a
if-
bit of a tech view too, so that might be handy.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's so hard to have this group organized. The group should be limited to representatives of each military participating in the SLMC. If he has issues that he wants to bring up, I think he's welcome to be here. But I think we're trying to limit the amount of voices we have, speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
can
then
I,
it gets
can,
way out of control.
do you mind if I speak out of turn real quick? If you guys are worried about bettering the community, you need opinions on all sides, not just from military leaders. You need opinions from all sides. If you truly want to fix this community, you need to not isolate certain people.
Okay, so if we got everybody in the SLMC in here, it would be a goddamn shit show.
Yeah, it
would.
would.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have people from
there's
all
a reason
sides.
why that I told Haven to do it this way is to allow people to talk. And originally I was telling them just to have a round table style agreement system. And that's kind of what we done, and shit got done. If we just start bringing in random people, it's going to turn into a shit show.
I've got an idea.
If they have
when you're done.
questions, if they have input, they can direct them to those people who are representing their group or someone they can trust to relay that information.
Okay, can I just say one thing? I'm seeing an opportunity here to reach out to those people and make them feel like that we care about them and we appreciate and want to know their opinion. And by doing that, I think we need to create a position within the group, a role, so to speak, that this person is the liaison between this group and everybody else. In other words, the representative that they know they can go to, that they can come and talk to this person, and then that person can like gather all the complaints or ideas or whatever and bring that to the group and speak for them.
That's how it's
Right,
working with our
and
group.
So
this
they don't
is
have
why
to
we
enter the
focus.
group.
This is why we're trying to focus on getting the forums done. So there's a platform for everyone in the SLMC to provide input and talk on discussions.
Oh, so
That's
you're
why
gonna
we're
have like
trying
a
to focus
form that they
today.
fill
Yeah.
out. Okay, go ahead. That'll
Short
probably
of just
work.
allowing everyone here. In the meantime, all we can do is plan for the forum and live stream every single meeting we have. And like, I'm looking at comments. If anyone has questions, I'll answer. I'll bring the comments up and stuff like that.
Currently,
It will be a shit show.
Currently in order to get it out as fast as possible, I'm just gonna publish the forums. And for the moment, what I'm gonna do is you can create your account, and I guess your account will be validated if you contact me. Preferably me rather than Kane or Hadet, because they're not even as available as I am. But you contact me and you say, hey, this is my account. I just created this account, and preferably create it with your Second Life name. Make your account name your Second Life name, and then come to me and say, hey, I created this account, and I can sign off on you. And then after that, we'll create an automated system via SL where you can click on a box, and then that'll validate you rather than going through me.
Right. So what we do now or whenever you publish it will be just temporary until we get the system in place.
Yeah. The second thing, because I wanted to just end this discussion really quick, because we were going once again, we're bringing back up doxing and what qualifies as doxing and what doesn't. And apparently there's dissonance between what some people define as doxing and what some people don't define as doxing. So to bring back my earlier point where I was talking about, if you have an issue, you bring it, and then the whole of the SLMC debates it. Perhaps that should qualify in all cases.
Yeah.
I think we should have a time where we all know, like a judicial meeting for these type of things. Where
Yeah, we have that. It's Sunday at 3:00 p.m. every Sunday.
Say that again.
Sunday, 3:00 every Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah,
3
but Raven
o'clock.
didn't know previously, so.
Well, it'd be 12
Okay.
SLT.
We kind of.
It's $12 to get in and $5 for parking. I know. So you got 3 o'clock. What Second Lifetime?
Yeah.
12
We're going off
o'clock Second
SLT.
Lifetime.
Okay, so we're a bit early then. I mean, the meeting doesn't
Wait,
start. The
Take
meeting's
that back. No, it's 3:00. 3:00 Eastern.
Yeah, idiot.
12:00
It's totally
SLT.
SLT.
Sorry.
And it makes it easy because everyone can basically make it. If you're from Australia, well, it's midnight.
Okay, so noon then.
Yeah.
Okay, noon Second Lifetime. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, everyone internationally can make it to this, and like I said, if you're not in Australia or some weirdo country, I mean, at least it's midnight for you. That's the best way.
Australia, weirdo country. Hey, mate, I don't think I like that a bit, mate. Good day.
Okay, so are we still in a little bit of a dispute on what we are defining as, the cardinal sin of the use of personal information? Like, I don't think we should use the word doxing because the word doxing is subjective. A lot of people have different definitions for it. So, does everybody agree if personal information is used in any way malicious or without the express permission of the person and subject, the poster will be punished, be it pictures or information?
That's not something that we're agreeing with across the board. What I
It's
basically
something that
just
needs to
stated
be
was,
agreed with across the board.
hold on.
What
hold
about
on.
if the
that's
person's
different than what we agreed to.
Rabble.
Hold on. What I said earlier is that if you have any issue where you think it might be, something that's against our TOS or whatever, whether it be basically what Wyatt did, let's use that as an example, where he released somebody's picture. People would take that and they would submit it to the page that I'm about to create, along with all documents, screenshots, etc. And then we would take it here instead of deciding what is doxing and what is not. That's a discussion we would have on a case by case basis where everyone participates.
Yeah, and also with the whole Wyatt thing, Wyatt was dealt with. We gave him the ultimatum, and he chose the right decision, and he was punished for it. It's not like he just went out and fucking, we're gonna ban him completely. Though the person did send out their information. Like, for instance, like if you have a public Facebook profile, it is public. It can be grabbed by anyone. Companies do it all the time. Not saying it's right, but you're basically giving consent that you are putting your stuff out for public use. That is what it is.
It just doesn't need to be in SL. It needs
Yeah,
to stay on
I
Facebook.
agree. And I agree.
Well,
And we
I mean, Ricky, it's not a fair argument to make because that picture was not put to Facebook. Decrypted has no pictures publicly on the internet. So, but it's not a discussion we need to have right now. As I said before, we can discuss this further on a case by case basis. I think the fact that we've spent this much time debating it as of yet is garbage.
Well, I think it's a very severe punishment, and I think it definitely deserves more focus and definition.
As,
and we need
as I
to,
said,
we
as I
need
said
to
before, from
figure
here
it
on
out.
out, it's going to be determined on a case by case basis by
Determined
everyone.
determined by on what grounds
Everyone.
and what balance.
Everyone's going to participate.
But we have no basis of a law to go by to judge against. It's everybody's opinion or something. I don't know. That I could be crazy. Some people think I am. I don't know. I think we should define it. We should define it. Because then we know where we stand, and then everybody else will know where they stand. And if your purpose is to scare people into scare them straight, or at least threaten them straight, then they at least got to know where the threat, where the the borders and the boundaries are.
I actually agree with Ray on this one.
We have to set some boundaries.
Raven, you know your SL voice is on too, right?
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
So-
I believe that
Okay.
all this stuff was covered in the previous videos. Like we went in depth on it, and everybody ended up agreeing. So
What did everybody agree on?
Oh, like with the cardinal sins, like we had like I think Kobe had released like a tier system on like tier 1 would be like doxing, copypotting, the big fucking no-nos, and then you had like lesser ones that would go down. And then the punishment would vary on which one said person did.
Sorry, my Discord crashed, but I missed.
He just did a rundown on the garden
Kiddish
things. But what I was asking about more specifically is this doxing thing. Okay. So here's an example of something that happened to me. Okay. I grew up, what if I want to talk about myself and dox myself? Like, I don't care if people know where I grew up at or where I live or where I might, whatever. What if I want people to go to my website and know who I am so they'll buy my CDs? I do. Anyway, so I don't care. Dox me all you want. What if I dox myself? Do I get banned for doing that? What if I start talking about something that coincidentally happens to be in the same place that somebody else lived and they think I'm doxing them because I'm talking about their neighborhood, but I don't know that because I grew up there, and then all of a sudden they're mad at me, Kane Constantine, because dude, I did not dox you.
We talked about.
I fucking lived in the same place, and he starts yelling at me, "Stop doxing me!" I said, "What are you talking about? I'm talking about myself."
I don't know if anybody heard me before I left.
It
but
gets
honestly,
convoluted. I need to know the boundaries.
I understand, but this is not something we're going to discuss because we cannot sit here and debate doxing every single weekend for the next month on Sundays, because that's part of the reason we're probably losing traction in the community.
This Sunday, doxing at the Cow Palace.
We talked about a lot of these things like in previous meetings, and I think based on the vast opinions that we have a lot of different opinions about this, and I think maybe the best way to decide upon like what we should all do as a community is to decide by precedent. When these things come up, we all decide what to do in these specific instances, and then we have those instances and what we decide to do to those people shape what we do in the future. I don't think that's objectionable.
I think you're right. I think there's a bunch of different instances where doxing may be this or may not be that, but we cannot possibly go through every single one of the parameters, which is why, as I said before, we'll do this case by case. When a case comes up, we'll discuss it as a group, and you can air all your points, and everybody can air their perspective at that point. We can make a decision at that point, rather than every Sunday at this time when we're supposed to be focusing on making the group better.
Could we just say, could I define it like this? Releasing anybody's real life information in Second Life. No.
I
Why
for the
can't we
sake
have a? Why can't we
for
have
the
a
sake
fucking
for the sake
rule?
of staying on topic, we need to move on.
Okay, fine.
When I came in here, I wasn't. I believe you guys were discussing rules
It was
before
more
we
of
got wildly off track.
it was more of like so if we're gonna have like a guidelines and rule set or something to follow for everybody or just for new Jesse, it'd probably just best to make them in the forum. I think is what we were.
We were also talking about like tournaments, like Okay, so basically, Kenny gave me an idea to like kind of have an SLMC tournament thing with like similar guns, and like we'd have like measures to make sure that people couldn't exploit it. And one of the ideas would be to follow from that. Well, people would kind of almost adapt their own rule sets and their own armories to better match that, so that they could fight better when it came time to do tournament kind of stuff. And I don't remember where the conversation was going after that.
I think we were all in agreement that it was going to work, or that we were in favor of
Yeah,
it.
Sephiroth, Kane, and I can all go back and forth on that, and if Fidet has time, he might want some input too, because he sounded pretty excited about it. And I mean, if we're ready to like do something like that with like the LBA armory thing that's in there, like I'm more than happy to do that. Unless anyone has a problem with like the LBA guns and the RPG and stuff, but I mean, despite your feelings on LBA, I don't think those things are imbalanced in themselves.
Something I had brought up with Kane before was the possibility of every once in a while having New Jesse host a tournament with like a different system to see about drawing in people from different communities as well.
I actually think that's a good idea too.
Like, what do you mean different systems?
Like Vice Tank tournament, or like using some other more commonly used system. Cornerstone is another great example, because you can draw in people from other communities to come check it out, and then you might get 1 or 2 people out of it.
Yeah, you could advertise per se. You could advertise the systems and the tournaments in their communities, and that would help draw people in.
To be honest, All Hallows and Velix have at least been doing like a once a week tournament thing when it comes to melee. On the regards of like limited damage and everything. So like I do actually think having like a monthly tournament thing for the community would be actually a really badass thing to do.
Nicole, what were you trying to say about marketing?
I didn't want to chime in when you guys are going on. Anyway, like recently today, I actually met an individual that is part of a fairly large community that does like they have their own combat system. They've been doing things like
wake up!
The Spiker combat system, the ROE dice roll system, and I actually got invited to their Discord where they have about 200 members in this group, where there's an average of about 30 to 40 members active at any given time, and none of them, and I mean like literally none of them, know even what SLMC stands for. They don't know that this community, our community, exists. And I've had a few of them from the same group pop into a sim, and they asked me questions. Went to Discord, they asked me questions, and it's the kind of thing that they would like to do. So on the topic of like marketing and things when it comes to this tournament, I think it is a great idea to let people know, like the Vice community and the Vice community, the zombie communities, the ROE communities, like let them know that yes, SLMC is a combat system, and it's a system that's been used for years and years and years right now. It's probably the oldest combat system on SL. It is the original SL combat system. They just don't know about it. Like this dude that I spoke to, and at least 20 others of them asked where can they sign up. Now the problem is, I said you guys would have to think about it, because if they signed up, they would all sign up with coercion. But to have an influx of that many people at once, I want them to like spread out throughout their community or start a new group, just to give us not just traffic for the community
Well, that's
itself,
why
but
you send them to New Jesse.
Yeah, that's what I said. The best place I can send you guys is New Jersey, because that's where we advertise all our militaries, and then you get an idea and taste of what SLMC combat is like. Now I don't know if any of them popped in, but a lot of them did ask for like contact deals and stuff like that. So I sent out a SL URL on their Discord. They do Second Life, and a lot of them are on Second Life, and a lot of them do take part in this ROE. So we might see an influx of that. But the thing is now, when I mean,
You
these
mean
guys are
remnants of
green.
Earth?
No, not him.
No.
These guys are green. They don't know jack squat. So what I'm hoping is that when they go to New Jersey, like people actually talk to them, tell them, and explain, and not just shrug them off like I've seen a lot of people do at New Jersey.
So is your point that you're trying to make, are you trying to say that you want us to A, reach out to more of these communities, personally, manually send people there and talk to them, as well as B, you want us to be more you want us to listen more to these new people? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, mostly B. Like we've discussed earlier, and everyone discussed earlier about reaching out to the other communities. That point I am very happy with. But the point that I want to make is the point B that you specified is like at least talk to them, because I've noticed some of the new people like coming to New Jersey and they're wandering around, or like they don't know what the hell they're doing, and then you talk to them and they've been in New Jersey for 3 days straight and they don't realize, oh wait, there's actually like standard gear that they can get from the little mall on the inside. They nobody says anything or does anything. So
Nicole, can you
like
introduce me to some of these people later?
uh sure.
Maybe some we could have kind of like people could just volunteer to be greeters. Like if we could all agree, if we're standing around there's a new person, we'll be the greeter. It's kind of like a floating role that we just do because when we see the need, we take care of it.
Or we just have something that delivers like a package to someone who has never been in New Jersey before with like, this is what it is. Here's where you can get said weapons, or here's little things you can get to participate. Here's how you do it. That way you don't have to have somebody like just standing there waiting on people or like going AFK. So you'll have like a box that just gives you a note card with stuff in it.
That's good. Yeah, the
I-
greeter pack.
Yeah, I think there are stands, set up currently from different groups where you click on them and it gives them a little, welcome pack and what to do and how to join. I think there's
Right, but like
also
just for the New Jersey as general, like they're not gonna know like if that's what they're supposed to click. So when they come in, they just be like, "Oh, look, here's a note card with all this stuff in it. Here's what I can do." Instead of be like, "What does this do?" or "Where do I go? Where do I click?" It's right there, and it sends it to them right off the
Okay.
bat.
So what I'm hearing from you is number one, we need to have something big and shiny that gives out a note card just purely about the SLMC. And I'm assuming you want it to come from New Jesse and be neutral, and people can read about it and get it. And then, secondly, I think a lot of people already have recruiters in New Jesse to talk to new people and help them sort stuff out. But if you don't have recruiters, throw a recruiter in New Jesse. And I think the third thing that's been stated is just be nice to new people and don't shrug them off.
Right. That human
Yeah.
touch and then just being able to talk to somebody and get, that connection makes a difference because I don't feel very connected to a giver box. I'll put the note card away and I'll leave and I'll forget about it and never come back. But if I meet a person, I'll remember that person. I'll go, oh, I had a good time. Remember that. Maybe they're still there. And I'll go back and look and I'll meet a new person.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to point out.
Right.
Okay. So that I'll discuss that with Kane as far as getting a big shiny box, and then everybody here is now aware that they need to send a recruiter, and they just need to be nice to new people. To circle back around to the original talk about creating uh, what was it? Tournaments using different systems. Um, who do you want to be in charge of that? Do you want that to also fall on Kane, or is that going to fall on certain people currently in this group?
I think the best thing is just to have our LLCS thing like that Sephiroth, me and hopefully Kane are going to get on board with, and then see how that goes, and then we can kind of use that as a jumping off point for future combat systems.
From there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have anything else to bring up, honestly, for this meeting. I also have to poop.
Proud of you.
Nice. All right. We're all pooped out then. Well, thanks for having me into this meeting. I appreciate giving me this opportunity to understand what's going on and be a part of it all.
Yeah, and when I think Tyler gave you the link to the previous meeting recordings as well. So I'd give those a gander and take what you can. And then the next meeting, if you want to bring something that you didn't disagree with, et cetera, we can do it next meeting.
Yeah.
Actually, can I add on to something about that list that we were discussing about the advertising the SLMC? So I've noticed in New Jersey that there's only like a handful of advertisements at New Jersey, as well as only a handful of people there. Would it make sense to possibly add, like, say, a list with all the active groups in the SLMC? That way they know what's here. I mean, we have the board, but that's pretty much it. And I generally don't see our group on it as either. So it was just a
You
thought.
mean the board with all these sims and like the people in it?
Correct.
Someone has to go to your sim and put the board in your sim for it to work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll probably nab that when when we finish the hub. It's almost done.
I don't remember.
Okay.
What? Sorry,
But a couple things I did want to address. So Raven and some people in the stream chat brought up a good point. Like, there isn't a lot of knowledge that these things are happening. So in the future, like, can we have someone like post a notice in the anyone with notice rights in the fray post a notice in the fray that this is going on, even though no one in the fray would care. I mean, yeah, we were talking about before. Let's delegitimize.
SL Military News.
We were talking about before. Let's delegitimize the fray as a news source because it's the fray. But at the same time, a lot of people are there. We can't just ignore reality.
If you want to delegitimize the fray, you're gonna have to replace it with something. Exactly. They're currently a Second Life group for Project Genesis,
and there
includes
really
all the
isn't. Like, the closest we have is the New Jessie Friends, and that doesn't have chat at all.
No, and then if we make a new group, we're gonna have to have moderators from a bunch of different groups to moderate each other.
Yeah, it would also be useful to have like notices in the New Jessie Friends group, but I don't have notice rights there either. I don't know.
And it would have to have strict parameters on what's able to post and etc. And probably just disable chat at that point.
All right,
There's a New Jessie Development Committee group.
I'm gonna create a group for the sake of Project Genesis.
You don't have to.
I'm gonna invite
we
Kane as owner.
Because like what'll happen is there won't honestly we really shouldn't, because number one, it's another group for people in the SLMC to join, and like with all the small groups, that's more group space that people need to free up. We really shouldn't do that.
Thank you.
Well, I'm saying for the sake of, if you want to delegitimize the fray, you need to have something that would replace the fray.
Right, but we don't need to like jump the gun and
He's prairie dogging.
Like, yeah, I think Van has a good point in the chat. Like, if we had one spawn group, that would solve all of our problems, but the issue is agreeing upon a spawn group.
I think Opposing Forces is a great spawn group for that.
Yeah,
I agree.
I still have ownership rights to it.
I have officer rights in it, but ownership rights would be good since I have a spawn now. But right now we're just using the Alliance Navy spawn group. But I definitely support Opposing Forces.
Yeah, I support using the Opposing Forces group. It's actually the one that Takoya normally uses.
Yeah, we'll see.
I actually second that because Opposing Forces was supposedly the original universal spawn group for the SLMC militaries.
Why did it fall out of favor?
Because Lurden was the guy behind it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the unpopular part about that is that people don't want somebody having control over a parcel of their land and not have the ownership of it.
It's your land. If someone's, you can just estate ban someone if it comes down to it.
Yeah,
that's true, I guess, but still, they can't do that. Parcel's not theirs, so they have to kind of ask for it back.
Yeah, there were points in the past where people really wanted to be shitheads to other people, and they used the Opposing Forces group as a way to do that by someone was an officer in your group or something, and then they had a spat, and they went and they made their own military, and just as an added fuck you on the way out, they messed up your spawn. because they were already an officer in opposing forces or something. And it's a hard balance to achieve because you have to balance out, one, trust in people, two, how much power you're going to give people in the opposing forces group, so that they can effectively administrate different parts of the grid, and B, like actually put that into practice and not, minimize damage.
Here's what I don't get. The reason I brought up creating a group, and if it's because I have bias, I understand that, and it could be solely Kane could create the group and own the group, and then everyone else just be administrators. But I figured that doing that would solve, number one, the problem of delegitimizing the fray and taking over as the fray, number one, and number two, it would also serve as a universal spawn group. If especially, and it would work because if everybody who's involved in Project Genesis uses it, that's all of the groups.
I have to say that. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go on.
I was going to say talking about both sides of the coins. To be fair, on a positive aspect about it is that if, in consideration of our group that we have here, that's sort of like putting a lid on all this bullshit and trying to control it and have a consensus about what should be and what not. If we have that universal group, we will have the ability to universally ban people from those spawns.
I don't think that's the right mentality.
From a center point.
Control isn't what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to achieve.
Okay, but I'm saying that is a possibility for it to be used in that manner.
It could.
I like that term.
It's just that's a really, like, we don't want to control people. Like, that's not what this is about. We want to agree with each other and be transparent.
Yeah.
Also, on the note of said group that we make, I would probably, I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but I recommend keeping it as in the group of members that actually take part in this meeting, because these are the people that, in this meeting, as I say, these are the people that actually want to make the community a little bit, better, fix it, keep it going, and keep it alive, rather than give it to people that don't actually attend to the meeting, because then we don't know what their agenda is. At least with the current people that are in the meeting at the moment, are people that actually have the agenda to keep this community alive and to keep it clean. That way, for a fact, no one in this group is just going to screw, no X person is going to screw Y person over because X person doesn't like Y person.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's a good point, Vin.
Yeah.
Because we're all on equal standing.
I like Y people. What are you talking about?
Regardless of.
But despite not having like a group for all of this, we do need to reach out to groups like the New Jessie, the Fray, and all these other groups that, and SLMC groups, like just post this, like the meeting stream or something, and then the word gets out, hey, can I come in? I'm this in this group, or this group doesn't have representation or whatever.
I agree. Is there anybody in here who has admin rights in the SL military news group?
I think
most everyone should have notice rights, because basically everyone can give each other notice rights.
Now,
I do not.
I could not. I'm not on the Fray. I can't
I do not
ever
have
reply to anything on the Fray. How come Wyatt has it? And
Wyatt was he left the Fray.
Oh, did he? But okay.
We made him leave the Fray.
Okay.
Did you want to send any notifications out on Op4?
That would be useful, like whenever we have. I mean, right now it's a little bit of a moot point. Like after the meeting is recorded, like I'll put the video here, and if anyone wants to post notices wherever they can go ahead. Like I'll post the video and the playlist, and then they can be like, just mirror that.
Okay.
Oh wait, I can create a message in the Fray all of a sudden.
I can.
A notice or a message?
I can.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and get online and get ready to post something on the.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit just because I'm lazy and I don't like putting videos up on convenient times for everyone.
So where's Silverhawk representatives here today? Do we have any of those?
They're in the Discord, but they didn't get online for this, and they watch the streams.
Yeah, I invited them.
Well, I'm sure, guys. So every Sunday at noon for me, because I'm on the West Coast. Oop, did I dox myself? Shit.
Funny.
Wait.
Yeah, I know. It wouldn't be hard to find out who I am anyway. And I don't really mind. Maybe you'll like my music and buy my CD. I'm actually making a new CD. I'm coming out in my. It's kind of a different brand. I was doing ska reggae.
No one cares.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't. Except for the Japanese people, they like it.
Not the time or the place.
Exactly.
Oh, Kelly C says they're listening. Yay! Hi, Kelly. Dun, 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 dun.
Is this over?
Kelly C.
I think we pretty much covered everything we needed
up?
to cover.
Yeah, I agree.
Are we calling it? All right.
Hell yeah.
Calling it.
Kelly C.
Come to Brazil. You can fight here now.
Well,
Right,
actually, before this completely adjourns, I'm just gonna make a small announcement. I am going to be switching off as everything has been kind of discussed. The guy that's going to be taking over my spot is going to be Oroku Takakura, as he's our head of internal, and we felt in Vox that mainly our internal and external affairs guy should be really handling this more than myself and Next. So later on during the week, I'm going to contact Haven. He's going to get invited.
I also have an announcement. Tyro Gutter is having a baby, and I think we should congratulate the boy.
Dude,
for
I
his
don't know
fine
if our
achievements.
minds are like in sync, but I knew you were going to say that before you said it.
All right.
Pyro, I'm gonna
congratulations,
send you a
Tyro.
cigar in world right now.
Thank you. I'm honored.
All right, I think you stop recording. All right, good job, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
All right, I got to